Hi, I'm Allison, CEO and co-founder of Native Air, and this is a new series that we're calling Climate Check-In. The world of climate tech is evolving very quickly. New concepts, new technologies happening, and I've been in a very privileged position to be able to attend and listen to and even contribute to some of these evolving themes. And in this series, I'd like to share with you some of the learnings and some of the new technologies that I'm hearing about, new ways of thinking about them. I'd like to share with you what's really resonating for us. The first thing that I'd like to discuss is that a few weeks ago, the EU agreed on the Carbon Removal Certification Framework, or CRCF. And this is a very important piece of legislation for anyone working in carbon removal, as it regulates the certification of carbon removal certificates. A really important piece of this framework is that it's a tech-neutral approach to carbon removal, meaning that it applies to all kinds of decarbonization technologies, including biochar. Until now, it was unclear what position the EU was going to take on the permanence of biochar. But with this policy, we're seeing biochar validated as a carbon removal technology. The effects of this policy change won't happen until 2025, but the first domino has fallen, and we're excited to see where it goes from here. I also participated last month in the tech arena in Stockholm, in Sweden. And I have to say, it's always such a joy to go to Sweden. So much is happening there in climate tech. It's really an excellent place for technology. It's also a great opportunity to connect directly with very large, innovative companies that are doing the right thing. I gave a talk at Tech Arena on the future of the built environment and how we can take this huge industry that's currently polluting and convert it into a carbon sink. And one aspect I heard a lot about was Scope 3 emissions in buildings. And these are the emissions that are attached to the materials that are nested in building products coming into building projects. And all of this is very similar to Scope 3 emissions in supply chains. I had the opportunity to speak with several very large real estate companies that are thinking about this problem differently. They see the buildings in their portfolio as products, and they can apply supply chain thinking to those products to be able to leverage all of that high volume demand across all of those sites into better, more sustainable material decisions. Another fantastic experience I had in Stockholm was listening to former Vice President Al Gore. Honestly, I was blown away by his speech. He was very passionate on stage, and I was thinking back to all of the knowledge that he's built and shared over time about the climate. You would imagine he'd be a lot more jaded about the topic, but he wasn't. He talked about being convinced that we will solve this problem and that we'll be able to meet our 1.5 degree goals. He also described how close our greenhouse gases actually are. If you were to drive from where you are right now straight up into the atmosphere, you would reach the mid-troposphere, where our greenhouse gases actually are, in 5 minutes. In fact, it's only a 35-minute walk. Sometimes our hard problems feel farther away than they are. There's a tangibility to emissions beyond the cause and effect that we feel. Thinking about it this way reminded me why we're doing climate tech. Another term I've heard recently is a climate native business model. And this just means building your company from the ground up with the planet as your key stakeholder. When we founded Native Air, we got a lot of skepticism for having a climate native business model. Our business model is very tied to carbon removal. In fact, we got a lot of advice that we should change our business model to be more traditional and have sustainability as a nice to have. Where we are now, companies will struggle to survive without having the planet as a stakeholder. And sustainability is becoming a business opportunity in its own right. Thanks for listening to our first Climate Check-In. I'm excited about some events coming up in the next few months, so I will be sure to put my thoughts together, tell you what's resonating for me, for Native Air, and looking forward to seeing you again soon.